Everybody knows the story of Paul Atreides, right? The desert planet, the giant worms, the spice. But here's the thing. That's the end of the story. That's the explosion. What we're talking about today is the story before the story. This is the slow-burning fuse that was lit decades earlier, getting ready to ignite a galactic war.
So let's get right into it. How does an empire, one that's been around for 10,000 years, actually start to fall apart? It's never one big thing, right? It's a quiet decay. It's a poison that just seeps into the foundations of power long before anyone notices the cracks. And that's really the mystery we're going to unpack here.
We're setting our clock back about 35 years before Paul was even a thought. And really, it all comes down to a choice. A really simple but fundamental choice that's going to echo across the entire galaxy. Do you choose honor or do you choose power? This one conflict, this single question, is going to define every single alliance, every betrayal, and every death to come.
So, what did the galaxy actually look like back then? Well, if you're thinking peace and stability, think again. The Imperium is a complete tinderbox. It's basically a cold war between these incredibly powerful families, all held together by the thinnest political threads you can imagine.
And this slide, well, it just lays out the whole power struggle perfectly. You've got three main pillars, and each one is driven by a single idea. You have House Atreides on their beautiful water world of Caladan. For them, it's all about honor. Then you have their rivals, the Harkonnens, living on this polluted industrial wasteland. Their driving force, pure, relentless power. And then, sitting above it all, you've got the Emperor's own House Harkonnen, and all they care about is control. So you've got honor, power, and control. Yeah, it's a three-way collision just waiting to happen.
And what is everyone fighting over, whether they know it or not? This. Melange. The spice. Look, it's not just some drug or a commodity, it's the absolute lifeblood of civilization. It's the only thing that makes interstellar travel possible. It can double or triple a person's lifespan, and it's only found on one miserable, harsh desert planet in the entire known universe. Arrakis. You control the spice, you control everything. The whole shebang.
Okay, so let's zoom in on our first major player here, House Atreides. How does this whole ideal of honor actually work in a galaxy this cutthroat? We get to see it through the eyes of the man who really defines the house in this era, a young and maybe a little idealistic Duke Leto.
And this quote, wow, this is Leto's entire philosophy in a nutshell. He operates on a principle that is just totally alien to pretty much everyone else. He truly believes that real power isn't something you take by force. It's something that's given to you, freely, out of loyalty and respect. He's playing a completely different game. And you know what? To his enemies, that makes him incredibly dangerous and unpredictable.
And this isn't just him talking a big game. It's his actual strategy. Time and time again, he chooses the honorable path, which is almost always the much, much harder path. You gotta remember, he was trained by legends, like the Mentat Tufer Hawat. He puts loyalty so far above profit, and by doing that, he builds this incredible reputation for justice across the galaxy. People start calling him the Red Duke. He's building his power through respect, not through fear.
But you know how it goes, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And the direct, violent reaction to Atreides' honor is the all-consuming, obsessive Harkonnen grudge. This right here, this is the engine that drives the whole conflict. The Harkonnen hatred for the Atreides isn't strategic, it's not logical. It's this ancient, almost mythic feud, a poison that's been passed down for generations. For Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, it's not enough to just win. He needs to see House Atreides completely and utterly erased from existence. I mean, just look at this comparison. You couldn't get a more black and white difference. Duke Leto is all about justice and stability, and his tool is integrity. Baron Harkonnen, he wants wealth and domination, and his tools are deceit and cruelty. And what's the result? Well, Leto earns loyalty and respect. The Baron gets fear and, the betrayal that always comes with it. These two houses are on a collision course, and let me tell you, the galaxy is not big enough for both of them.
But hold on, this isn't just a two-player game. We can't forget about the guy on the Golden Lion throne himself, Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, and boy is he hiding a very, very dangerous secret.
So what is the big secret of the most powerful man in the universe? It's not strength, it's fear.
The man is completely consumed by paranoia. Every single time Duke Leto's popularity goes up, the Emperor doesn't see a loyal subject making the Imperium stronger. Nope, he sees a rival. He sees a threat to his throne. His entire rule is just one long, desperate attempt to not lose control.
And this fear, it pushes him to do something unbelievably reckless. He makes a secret deal with the Tleilaxu, who you do not make deals with, to create artificial spice. The code name is Project Amel. Now, if it works, he shatters the power of the Spacing Guild and gets absolute, total control over the universe. But if it fails, or if it's discovered, it could trigger the collapse of the entire galactic economy.
This chart really puts his insane gamble into perspective. I mean, look at this. The risk of total economic collapse? Extremely high. The actual chance of success? Super low. But his level of paranoia? It is at critical. It's so off the charts that it's completely blinding him to the catastrophic mess he's about to make.
Okay, so we've got three massive forces, all moving on their own paths. You've got the Honorable Atreides, the hateful Harkonnens, and the fearful Emperor. So now let's see how these separate threads start to twist and weave together, creating the perfect storm that's about to make landfall on one planet, Arrakis. The big thing to get here is that this didn't happen in a vacuum. This wasn't just one bad guy setting a trap. You've got the Bene Gesserit, who've been manipulating bloodlines for centuries. You have the Emperor's paranoia, pushing him to build a forbidden technology. And you have that ancient Harkonnen feud that's just about to boil over. House Atreides isn't just walking into one trap, they're walking right into the deadly intersection of all three.
So on the surface, this all just looks like a horrible tragedy, right? It looks like Leto's honor was a fatal weakness. But the story's showing us something way deeper. His choices, his refusal to compromise his integrity, they created a different kind of weapon. A weapon his enemies were literally incapable of understanding.
And here it is. This is the ultimate point. Leto forged an unbreakable legacy of loyalty, integrity, and honor. These were the exact qualities his enemies just didn't have, and it's their lack of them that ultimately leads to their downfall. Leto's death wasn't the end of his house. No way. It was the catalyst. It's what armed his son Paul with the one thing that could actually topple an empire, a legacy that good people were willing to fight and die for. And that leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. What if? What if Duke Leto had been more ruthless? A little more like the Baron? Could he have won? Could he have saved his family and his house from their fate? Or would he have just become the very tyrant he was fighting against, and in doing so, lose everything that made him an Atreides in the first place? It's a great reminder that in the universe of Dune, how you fight is every bit as important as why.